Absent-minded gamer here. Hey, we are back, and we are here to look at another payware airplane. And yesterday we saw the release of World Update number 13 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. This added the Oceania, additions to the Oceania and Antarctica regions of the world. So with that, we also saw the release of the ATR for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And with it, we saw not one version, but two different versions of the ATR. This comes bundled with a few liveries and retails for a whopping $12 and I think $12.50, $12.99, something like that. And that's with the discount if you bought the premium version of Flight Simulator. Otherwise, it's $19.99. But what they've done is they have brought this airplane into Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it is considered expert level aircraft. And I'm assuming that the expert level portion of the aircraft, and why they call it an expert level, is that it has an FMC, and the FMC, you have to learn how to use the FMC, which that makes sense in this type of aircraft. Now, I haven't flown an ATR in a long time. I think that I was one of the first ones. The original ATR came out for Flight Simulator 2004, a century of flight, many year ago. And there's been other versions of the ATR, but nothing quite as good as the very first one that came out. But this one's pretty good. It does have its issues, but for the most part, it's a phenomenal add-on for the price. I mean, there's no way you go back in time and you look at that original ATR, and I believe what Flight 1 had the bundle for it. And the original one was like $50 or something like that. This is $12. And it deserves some attention. I mean, I know I've been reading there's a lot of people out there that are having issues and they don't understand how, they don't really understand how the FMC works, and you can't make a flight plan within Flight Simulator and then dump it into the ATR. You have to actually use a program, make your flight, and then program it into that FMC. And I am very rusty on using an FMC. So for what I decided to do with this video is we're going to just take a look at the airplane, take a look at the cockpit, and that's all we're going to really do. I'm not going to talk about anything technical or how to set up a flight or do a flight. We're just going to take a look at the plane and to see what you get for your money. The plane is positively gorgeous. Alright, so first off, you'll notice the level of detail is very good. Even right on down to the writing on the static writing on the access panels. The props are awesome looking. Those engines are something else. Now, not only is the exterior modeled, but the interior is also modeled as well. So you can go in and take a look around. Let's go look at that. That is cool. The rivets down to the light. Or the beacon. And of course, you got all your moving parts. Everything moves like it's supposed to. And you have your PBR textures and all that. Everything that you'd come to expect from an aircraft from Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, I did notice one thing, and it was the first thing that I noticed when I jumped into the cockpit. So we're going to just go ahead and jump into the cockpit here. And here, like I said, we are cold and dark. When you look left and right using your hat on your yoke, this one, just like the Caribou, you look to the left, it looks to the right. You look to the right, it looks to the left. That kind of drives me nuts. But it is what it is, and I'm sure that's something that will be fixed in the future. Cockpit is impressive. Sorry about that. So then you drop back here into the main compartment, and you have your passengers compartment. I really had no idea that the ATR was this big. I mean, I always knew it was a big airplane, but this thing is bigger than I thought it was. You know, no bathroom. Sorry, folks. That first step's a doozy. And your extra little eye candy is accessible from this little panel right here. So we're going to just go show you that. I will show you that. We'll look here, and we're going to go to options. And no, that's not where I want. Aircraft? Yeah, okay. Here's where you can open all the doors, add your ground power, the main door, tail prop, and your service door. And that gives you everything that can open that's viewable from the outside. And then you have your performance section, which gives you your takeoff data. You can set your reverse thrust, or you don't want to use reverse thrust, what the runway conditions are. And it will give you, I believe it will give you required runway length depending on what you have on board and how many people and how much fuel. And then this is the payload section where you can set. Can you set those? No, those are all set via the FMC, I believe. Or those are just preset. But you can set your weights. Anyways, but that offers a lot of functionality to the airplane. And you can also just jump in if you're ready for taxi, just hit the ready for taxi button. And refill your. This I found interesting. I wonder. That's interesting that these are here. And I wonder if that carries over with each flight or what. But who knows? I don't. There is little or no manual for this airplane, so you're just kind of stuck into learning it. And one other thing is to make sure you set your avionics mode, depending if you like it. And I set mine to United States FAA. So, all right, let's go ahead and I'll show you the outside with everything open. Oh, that first step's a doozy. Yep. Oh, look at that. And there's that's interesting. The tail prop. That's cool. It's that's an added bonus there, I think. I mean, not a big deal, but that would keep the plane from falling back on its tail. Then we have external power. Of course, it doesn't show anything that is hooked up to it, but that's okay. That's gonna do it for this one. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna jump into a different one and give you an idea what the sound is like. Okay, so we are in the ATR 42-600. This one comes with 3 different liveries, and the ATR 72-600 comes with 5 different liveries. And the plane before, we were actually in the 600. So, or I'm sorry, we were in the 72, and now we're in the 42. So what we're looking at here is another nice airplane. And parking here is apparently a real problem. But anyways, oh look, there's another ATR parked over there. So we're gonna fire up the engines. Good sound files. Really good sound files. Great airplane. And I plan on doing a little more with this airplane. I decided I wasn't gonna just jump in and fly it for the sake of the video. I want to show it off, and then later on we'll take it for a flight when I get a little more comfortable with it. We'll jump back into the cockpit here. Okay, so once you're in the cockpit, everything is pretty straightforward. You have your primary flight displays with all your pertinent information. This one will have your flight plan once you program it into the FMC, your engines, flap positions, and all that wonderful stuff. Everything here does something. I haven't seen anything not inoperable yet. In front of the first officer and his displays. And then this is the FMC. Now make sure, now on the pilot side for the FMC, when you have the let me switch back here. When you have the yoke up, yeah, the yoke's visible. The yoke actually covers up the top two buttons on the FMC. So you just click down here and that gets rid of the yoke. Okay, so there's your FMC. FMCs can be pretty straightforward. Now, if you have a program like Navigraph, you can get everything you need from Navigraph to program a flight into that FMC. Programming a flight via the Microsoft Flight Planner at the start of your flight will not do anything for the FMC. The FMC has to be all programmed, starting with your position in it, initialization and all that. Everything has to be done. The weights have to be put in. And it can be daunting, but once you learn how to do it, it's not that hard. And like I was saying earlier, the early ATR that came out years ago, that was the first time I learned how to use an FMC. It was with that. I think it was that and the older CRJs or something, the business jets anyways. So once you learn how to do it, it's not hard. But it does require a little bit of a learning curve, and there is no real directions per se. There's no manual for this. You just have to jump in and do it. There's YouTube videos to show you exactly what you need to do. So if you need that, just watch those and you should be able to figure it out. And we move to the center console and we have power levers, condition levers. And like I said, everything seems to do something. So there's a lot of little hidden eye candy in here to play with. Even printer self-test. Wow. Like over here on the other side of the co-pilot, you have all these panels. I don't think propeller low pitch test. That's interesting. And the pilot has one as well. Maintenance test mode. And looking up here is your overhead panel. It's all pretty straightforward. Everything does seem to function. The only thing that doesn't do anything are the circuit breakers. None of the circuit breakers do anything on this plane. Not a big deal, but just to point that out. The sun visors do extend. Okay, and you can also open... Oh, come on. There we go. Open the door to the rear, go through the rear compartment into the passenger area. Problem is I don't know how to extend myself around the corner without switching to showcase mode, but then I can't open the other doors. So there's that. So with that, we're gonna just leave it and we'll go for a flight at a later date. So this kind of gives you a good rundown of what this add-on is. Highly recommend it. Price wise, you can't go wrong. I'm sure it's only going to get better with time, with updates. And yeah, I'm sure there's problems, there's bugs. But you know what? Big deal. I would have gladly paid $12 for this. I would have paid $20 for this. Considering anything that you compare this to with the older flight simulators, I mean, you paid anywhere from $50 to $60, and sometimes you got buggy add-ons. So everything I've seen so far, I'm pretty happy with for the price. So we're going to just call it, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And please hit the like and subscribe, and have a great day.